ladies and gentlemen, that definitely is going on. But look, amid all that, OTAs is in full swing.
It's
Third
football.
week has been going on. Oh, I love it. You're starting to see a little bit of action, a little bit, some deep balls. Some balls are being thrown. That wide receiver group looking nice. Mr. Wentz was looking nice. Had a rough Wednesday, but
Yep.
so we shall definitely see. Will, what are your thoughts on early OTAs?
Yeah. So very first thing is, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, Sean. Those helmets pop.
They do. I've noticed it. Noticed it.
and I don't know if it's only because we've had 2 years of just red shell.
Right.
And now we've got some gold on there and some like things that make it look like us. But the helmets look real good out there. So that was my first thing. And some of the newcomers are starting to shine. Now I will say this. You don't need to, it's not take what happened at OTA with a grain of salt. You need to take the entire bag of salt when you take this, because the OTAs are made for the offense. The defense is not allowed to hit. You're not allowed to get physical at all. So if your offense is struggling during this, you've got major problems.
Right.
So we're going to get some positive reports about the offense, or we should, if things are going well. But we're starting to see hearing some real good things about our newcomers. Even so far to say, I know we're going to get into QB1, a little bit here, and QB3 as well when we get to him. But I've even heard them talk a little bit about how the under the radar offensive linemen, Andrew Norwell and Trey Turner, are looking good together. They're a different type of offensive lineman. They're not as big as Sheriff was. They're a little bit more athletic, and they also know this offense.
Yeah.
So they're coming in acclimated.
Right.
There we go. And they were talking about, they were showing some of the different blocking schemes for the running backs are already different. So that's kind of interesting. A little unheralded one. They talk about Brian Robinson looks big.
Yeah,
they say he's a thumper.
Yeah.
They're like, and they say, and already Gibson's a little nicked. He was on the sideline yesterday. So it's like
him and Samuel.
Yeah, I know. Don't like that.
Come on, man.
So it's like already you're seeing some dividends as to why they picked this guy in the third round. So it's kind of you're hearing some good things. Now there's some more to go over, but I want to give you a chance to talk about what's standing out to you and what are you hearing so far?
So one of the things you said was that, this OTAs is mainly for offense. One of the things recently that's been going on, and especially happened on Wednesday, the defense, especially the secondary, is shining. We talk on Wednesday, they had 2 interceptions and a number of pass breakups, and they've been actually kind of looking better. And they've been saying, one of the guys that we discussed last year, Benjamin St. Juste, he only got in for about 9 games, with the injuries and whatnot. They're saying his length, his size, his foot speed, this guy is coming in here playing. Sean Springs, our old corner, he also played for the Seattle Seahawks. He says he always calls him baby Richard Sherman, because this guy, right, which is high praise. And this guy, he's been balling out, and they really are liking what they see. So in McCain is they say he's been kind of taking over the veteran presence now that Landon Collins is not there. Okay. Cam Curl has been finding his voice. Yeah. You know what I mean? And a lot has been said about, Percy Butler, as the steal of the draft. Like, you were telling me earlier. So that secondary, which is a hole that we definitely addressed, it's really looking nice. There've been some nice things that I've heard about that. And outside of that, wide receiver group.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson, from what I hear, he's as advertised.
Legit.
I love that.
You
know what I mean? Again, like you said, this is OTAs. It's tailored to the offense, things of that nature. But I've heard that him and Carson Wentz, up until this Wednesday, have been really, back and forth. Yes. They have been on par, getting it together. And That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear at this time of the year. But yeah, no, I'm excited about that. Again, my guy, I don't know if you heard in that Wednesday practice, my guy De'Ami Brown took a nice shot when Reeves hit him. Glad to hear Reeves' name, but De'Ami Brown now out with a shoulder injury, and Ron was even ticked about that. He's like, he was like, "Are you effing kidding me? Like, what are y'all doing out here?" So, I'm glad to see though that they're going up there and they're fighting hard for it. But that secondary really has me kind of like, okay, because that's something we need. If we can get a no-fly zone, I think our D-line will take care of the rest.
Right. Yeah. No, I've heard that about the safety position too, and how they said Cam Curl's looking like a stud. I mean, now he's in year 3. He's even more comfortable. He's playing that Buffalo nickel role and doing well with it. That's exciting to hear. And you wonder about him and Derek, or Percy Butler and Derek Forrest that we don't really hear a lot about. What are they seeing? So that's good. Yeah. The receivers, there's almost a slight blessing in disguise with Terry out. Because Jahan Dotson and De'Ami Brown have gotten a lot of chance to work with this new quarterback of theirs. And you've got a rookie getting a chance to get his feet wet in the NFL on his first practices and getting thrown to it and create rapport. One of the things that I heard from somebody that is a Penn State fan is like his catch radius and the plays he makes. And there was the clip they had where the ball was thrown behind him and he jumps up, twists his body. He makes sure he secures the catch. He still makes the play. Yeah. So that's what. I mean, Dotson's looking like he's looking like a player. They even said up until this recent sidelines that Curtis Samuel was back looking good, and the reporter said you see the speed, you see the difference making that he can do. You see why they're excited to get him, and it's like we kept talking all off season, like, well, do we need to get rid of him? And it's like we need a season with him. To really see what can do. And then your boy De'Ami, and I'm hoping that this is the year that not only does he got a quarterback who can hit him, but he's going to get forgotten and he's going to get past people.
Sneak out the field. Right? Exactly. Exactly. Get paired up against that nickel corner or against a linebacker where all of a sudden he's breaking open and the speed is there.
Exactly.
He just needs the opportunity.
Right. He needs someone who doesn't have a noodle arm to get it to him.
Right.
So let's talk quarterbacks here, okay?
Oh,
because it is exciting. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, look, like I mentioned earlier, I've heard a lot of good things and seen a lot of good things from Wentz getting his time with De'Ami Brown, getting his time with Jahan Dotson. He's been looking crisp. One of the things that I really like is that he's been kind of figuring out the offense, but not being so big and bad that he's not taking instruction. If he's messing up, he's going back to, Scott Turner, going back to the huddle. Okay, what is it that you're looking for? What is it I'm supposed to be looking for? And figures out what he did not do correctly. Wednesday aside, I am really excited about what I've been hearing from Carson Wentz and just how he's kind of getting acclimated to the team with the receivers. I like it. I heard some great things about my guy Sam. I heard some great things earlier about him, is that he was really hitting him. It's just he had this moxie about him. He had this kind of bravado, this kind of the swagger about him that he was taking out there, and I like that. That's good. Unfortunately, that's it. I haven't heard much else. I've heard Heineke has been actually kind of coming along recently.
Yeah.
And so with that, Heineke's played. I kind of let's let Heineke come in there. How you just sit back and learn, sit back and do what you. Yeah, I know. I've been doing a lot of looking at it, and then when De'Ami got hurt yesterday, I was like, oh my goodness, it's just not our year yet. Give us time. North Carolina will rise again, but no, I honestly think Carson is really doing what he needs to do, and let him continue to get connected with his wide receiver. And like you said, I think it could be a blessing in disguise that Terry's not there, because you're right. He is getting to feel his other receivers, and he's also getting to feel his tight end, your boy, is going off.
Yeah.
They all love Mr. Cole Turner. So I'm loving that. And there's something.
Let's get into a whole segment there. Don't go too far.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We'll get into that later. But yeah, Wentz is definitely looking nice. And the 2-3, it's going to be interesting. But I potentially think Heineke might move back into that 2 role.
Man. Sean, you got to understand this. And for folks, if you're watching or if you're listening later on, I wore my Heineke shirt today for a reason.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Because I swore that Sean was gonna hear how Sam Howell was coming out with some moxie. They were saying he's Taylor Heineke with a stronger arm, and he was gonna start hitting it like he's number 2, he's the future, he's number 2. And I was gonna say, no way, pump your brakes. And here you're being rational. That's not fun.
I know.
It's not fun.
Look, I did the research and I was looking over it and I was like, man, I got to be realistic right now. I got to. Yeah. No, because I'm hearing the same things. And I think it's good that Sam Howell shows some good things, early on. And I think it's good that Heineke's playing better now. But let's talk QB1. All right. And I'm hearing the same thing you are from these reporters who, granted, they don't get a lot of time out there in OTAs, and they'll admit it, but they're talking how poised he looks out there, how big he looks, 6'5", and he stands over the pocket. He looks like a big guy, but most importantly, he's got a strong arm and he slings it. And they said there's a level of professionalism out here that we haven't had in years, and that's what makes it exciting. They're talking about how there's certain routes and he's zipping it to these receivers, so they better be running the right routes because he's bringing it. So this reminds me, Sean, all the way back. I'm going to go all the way back to 1999. That's what this gives me shades of. Come on now.
We were kind of down and out in 98. Trent Green showed us a little bit of something, and then we lost him. And it's like, what are we going to do? And Charlie Casserly goes out and pulls this trade for Brad Johnson.
Johnson.
And you just hear this like aura during training camp and stuff like that, where like you could just tell people felt good. Yeah. And I think we're seeing that. And part of what we're seeing and why this is, Brad Johnson 2.0 is because we've been so bad for so many years, and we have not had a quarterback of the physical ability plus experience of Carson.
And just to that point, ladies and gentlemen, this Will is not lying. I need to show you this. This is a list of all of the quarterbacks that we have had since 2005. You see Brunell, Ramsey, Jason Campbell, Todd Collins, McNabb, Rex Grossman, John the Don Beck.
Oh, gosh.
Kurt for a number of those years. Lucy's at the end. Alex Smith, McCoy, Case Keenum, Dwayne. I mean, look, we've had a number of them, and that's why, and I'm going to send it right back to you real quick.
Yeah.
We've had a number of them, but I've heard that's why people are saying, why not Carson Wentz? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's better than what we've had.
He is so much better than what we've had for so many years. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know how many times he's going to throw the ball to the other team right now. Yeah. But for now, we are seeing what a professional quarterback looks like. Mm-hmm. You heard a little bit about this when Alex Smith came in. He had a big command of the offense, even in his new year, and kind of they really talked about his leadership out there. But Alex doesn't have the arm that Carson has. And so you're going to see this offense is humming, and you can hear they're excited. These receivers are excited. And not only are these receivers excited, there's another position group that's excited about Carson Wentz. So I think we should go into this tight end position and what's happening here.
Yes.
Because it's real interesting what I think what's happened. So we talked in the offseason about what direction we're going to go. Terry's not a possession receiver, but we've turned him into one. And Samuel's small, and De'Ami Brown is a smaller, faster guy. So what are we going to go? And then we went and drafted a smaller wide receiver again, and we were all worried about it. And what you're starting to see from this team is almost like they said, we're going to put speed on the outside, and we're going to use our size on the inside.
Yes.
with these tight ends, which also plays with our quarterbacks. One of his favorite targets is big athletic tight ends.
Yep.
And you're seeing that now all of a sudden we've got a plethora of tall, athletic tight ends who are receivers who can move, you know, and I know it's almost like, well, maybe this is what the way they decided to design the offense. You know, we've talked about Cole Turner is looking like he's going to come in and make plays. Like, you know, like he's going to be that put him right off in the slot. Let him do what Jordan Reed used to do. You need that first down. All right. He's going to fake to the right. He's going to come inside right over the middle and throw a slant, you know, and he's going to be that guy. But then there's this other guy. You and I were talking about this. I had never heard of this undrafted guy out of Arizona State named Curtis Hodges.
Yeah.
I was like, who are they? And that's what they're like. The reporters were like, this guy's a stud. Like he's a developmental piece. He's 6'8". They say he's athletic. It reminds me of
like an Adonis,
big dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when we had Donald Parham on the team in 2019, Dwayne's rookie year. And they're like, hey, if this is someone that you want to keep around. So there's that. The other thing is the reporters day one said, who in the world is this number 18 out here? He's a big dude. It's AGG.
Yep.
He's turned into a tight end.
Yeah.
And I sent you that little clip that they showed yesterday.
The one-handed catch?
He's running pretty smooth. He might have been slow as all get out of the receiver, but he's moving as a tight end.
Exactly.
You know, so it's kind of interesting. And I heard you and Nate talk about this guy, and I don't know much about him. You take over. You know where I'm going with this. This tight end, this former quarterback. Do you know?
No. Oh, no. Who?
Amani Rogers.
Rogers. Nate told me about him. Amani Rogers. He was saying that this guy he's really looking for him. I had not actually heard about him.
Me neither.
I was going to say something about Logan Thomas. No, I hadn't heard about this guy, but he kept saying him, and I'm sitting here like, oh, because I Hodges was somebody that's on my list. Obviously, Cole Turner. We got Bates. You know, and I was kind of going back and forth on those guys, and he kept saying Amani Rogers. So I don't know, but I have heard that he's showing up, and all of a sudden, you're right. You know, at one point it was 5 wide receivers. Now it's like 5 tight ends. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all good, viable options.
They're all prospects. Like the only bad thing is they're all like in that developmental stage right now. Right. Hodges, Rogers, AGG, Sammys, they're all having to learn. Well, I'm take out Sammys for right now. They're all having to learn to be a blocker as well. Like, you know, so that's kind of interesting. But then the one we don't know about it is Sammys. Yeah. He spent a whole year learning how to block. We never featured him as a receiver. No. We don't know what's there. You know, it's like all of a sudden this tight end group has gotten really excited.
And it makes you think, it makes you wonder what they're going to do, because obviously you're not going to be able to hold 5-6 wide receivers and also 5-6 tight ends. Yeah. So it makes you think where they're going to have to cut some guys. And, you know, maybe this tight end spot, you know, might be more relevant, you know, especially if we have a running game going. But my question is, with this point of having all these tight ends, you know, the odd man out right now, and, you know, to no fault of his own, but to the injury, Logan Thomas. You know, one of the things that Nate said on the show that I hadn't heard before he said it was that Logan Thomas could potentially be, after June 1st, somebody that you would, you know, move on from. And I'm like, you know, we just signed him. You know, he is such a force with his size and his, you know, catch rates, everything that we're saying about a lot of these other guys, and he's proven. So is that an option? I didn't think it was at all, but I mean,
yeah, I can't see that. I mean, Logan Thomas is head and shoulders are tight end one.
That's what I
because he knows how to do. He can block and run routes. He can do it all. And I think all these guys are nice pieces to develop, but I don't think you could get rid of him and you know, promote the others. But what could very well be a possibility is Logan Thomas starts the season on the PUP list. And he's not around the first couple weeks. So he may not be around because of he's recovering from his ACL that he had so late. So we may be forced to play more of a Bates Turner type tandem there. But I don't think you want to get rid of him just yet. I think he's going to be a valuable part.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I was saying. He's the only real. I mean, Bates has a year, you know,
Right.
a year under his belt. He's the only real veteran guy that we have. You need somebody like that to kind of show the younger guys what he has, and he's kind of established. You want him on the field. So,
I mean, our offense took a big dive when he got hurt.
Yes, it did.
I mean, there was that that was pretty tough.
Yeah. People forget how important he was in that 2020 season. We look at that Steelers game, that first third down. He had that huge, kind of twisting catch that really kind of set the tone, in my opinion, that, hey, we're here to stay, and we can play with you guys.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff that has been going on. A lot of people that have really been trying to make a name for themselves right now. I'm excited to see what kind of transpired as we get into minicamp and everything like that. Sure. But we do have to ask the question, because there are people that have not been there. So I mean, how important are OTAs? And should we be concerned if some players don't attend? And we're going to get into, obviously the notable players. Terry McLaurin, is not there. But even Deron Payne is kind of, on his fifth year option, not happy. He's notably not happy. So, how important is this? Should we really hold these guys accountable, or could it be, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar, and some of those guys aren't going to OTAs? Are people crying about that? So how important is it if they're not there, or are OTAs in general?
Right. This is like the every year debate, because some team always has something for that. It's like, I think they're important. I think you could be teaching stuff. There's bonding going on. There's value in it. Yeah. But you can't. I have a really hard time believing that if someone misses something in May and June, they're so far behind when it comes to training camp and the regular season that it can't be made up. Right. Like I said, it is great to be back there, but is it really all that detrimental?
Right.
That's perfect.
Voluntary.
It's voluntary. Yep. It's like they're good, they're nice, but I don't know. I don't think they're that big a deal. What about you?
Right. No, I absolutely agree. I do. I mean, for somebody like the situation of Carson, yes, I definitely think you need to be there, because you're learning a new system. You're getting to know the players, the rookies, all the new guys. Nate made it a point when we did the show with him, I and Nick, that it's like the first day of school. You meet your teachers, you meet your classmates, you meet all the new people. So for them, yes. But for some of these guys that have been around, some of these guys that have played, they know the system. I don't have a problem with them because of the fact it is voluntary, and a point that one of the things Nate was saying is that, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, we don't know what these guys have been doing outside of, what's being broadcast and, what's being written about. These quarterbacks are working with their receivers, day in and day out from the end of the season up until around this time. So to kind of get that chemistry. So we need to stop kind of judging these guys if they're not. I don't want to go to OTA. Hey, come on now. There's more important things. Once we get the mini camp, training camp, that type of stuff, you're still holding out. Okay, now I'm concerned, because once you do get in, we've had a number of times where guys get in there without doing that, and then it takes you half the year to get your legs under you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion, man.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.